Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Jeremy, founder of QuickMail.io.
Hey, and this is Jack, Chief Lead Generation Officer at salesbread.com. Today it's a water cooler. Chit chat
Yeah.
on, is cold email dead?
Is it?
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
And we're also trying something new. It's going to be a 2-topic water cooler.
Or was it? Oh, I thought we were doing 2 episodes, but 2 topics fine. Okay, let's do a 2 topic. I'm happy with that. Seems exciting.
Okay. Topic 2, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
will be LinkedIn Sales Navigator. I think we've got a bone to pick with that prospecting tool, and that's it. Casual water cooler conversation on new things. Is cold email dead? So casual sponsor. Jeremy, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Casually go to quickmail.io. It's one of the best software when it comes to, now it becomes like a massive pitch. When it comes to doing call outreach, if you have multiple accounts you need to manage, we are probably the best one on the market to do that. So check us out, quickmail.io. And if you also are conscious about your email deliverability, that can't harm. So go ahead, check it out. We're on fire this year with, anyway, I could go on and on and on because it's so great. Yeah, check it out, quickmail.io.
Very casual, very casual. Yeah, and SalesBread exists to bring you one lead per day, especially if you don't love prospecting like we do. If you find that you are sending to a generic list, people don't really reply. If you have, let's just say, less than a 10% response rate, or even, gosh, worse than a 6, it's probably the prospecting you're doing, plus a little bit of copywriting, plus a lot of personalization that you know you should be doing, but you're not for some reason, whether it's the skill or desire or just the time in the day to make it happen. So if that's you and you'd really like someone else to worry about bringing leads from cold lists, head over to salesbread.com, fill out the contact form. And while you're there, check out some of our articles. There's a lot of good stuff. If you like the podcast, you'll like that as well. salesbread.com.
Nice. Very cool.
Okay. It is very cool. Cheers. I made sure to grab a
I just
beverage for
finished
this.
my drink. I'm like, so yeah, and you don't have one. Man, this is terrible water cooler. Like we're absolutely unprepared.
We're just hanging out in the break room, not drinking anything. But is cold email dead?
Is it? So yeah, as I was telling Jack just before we started recording, is a few years back there was this thing about, hey, cold email may be dead, and I think Jack and I are going to jam as to why. But then it sort of like came back today, and I'm like, absolutely not. Right? It's one of the strongest channel ever, especially this year. Like a lot of people who went to LinkedIn, whatever, they're coming back in with force, with a vengeance, coming back to outreach by email. Even people who do prospecting on LinkedIn, they tend to switch very quickly to email. So I don't know what's your take on that or what your view on this.
Well, I still love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is, for better or worse, a good friend of mine, right?
Yeah.
But that said, let's talk about why people left cold email. There was like a little bit of a
2020,
rumor that yeah, exactly.
something
About
like
2 years ago. About 2 years ago.
2019. Yeah, something like that. I'm not entirely 100% sure, but I think like it was the new gold rush of LinkedIn at the time, right? And Facebook as well was pretty strong, and Slack as well came in, and they feel like, okay, well, email is dead, and yeah,
That's true. I remember there was ink title, like a cover shot where it's like a picture of Slack and then it says, is email dead? And I think this started the idea that we're not in our inbox as much as we used to be. This is where the world is going. Goodbye, email.
that's right. Well,
but what
we're
happened?
still here.
and we still use Slack. Slack did great,
but I use it.
We couldn't drop email, it turns out. Now, let's keep in mind that this conversation is really for B2B marketers, because the rest of the world could care less about LinkedIn and cold email for the most part. But I think in 2020, there was a push to LinkedIn. Maybe there was also a lot of great case studies backing Facebook ads, and it became almost, I'm going to say, unnecessary. Maybe there were other channels that were performing really well in 2020 that made other people say, cold email's tough. I'm going to go here and I'm going to dump ad money. And that's why I think that sort of mindset started in 2020. What do you think?
I'm not convinced. I think a few of agencies that used to use cold email with us, I decided at some point to switch, because it's things like, oh, cold email becomes too hard. We're not enough, return on an investment. Actually, not return on it, not enough results for clients, whatever. And so we find this great thing called LinkedIn. And so we're going to transition to LinkedIn. And they're back. A lot of them. And I think as you mentioned, the floor has been raised as well. Now you need personalization, you need really good targeting, but overall, it's stronger than ever. And I think thanks to LinkedIn, actually, for adding the 100 leads, maximum invite at some point. I know now it's not quite the case.
That's not the case for a while now. I'm finding that if you're getting blocked, it's because you're just a spammer, right? You're not really caring about who you're sending to and what you're saying, because we're seeing, knock on wood, but no limits anymore. But it doesn't mean that other people aren't getting limits, right? It's very similar to cold email in that some people can send 100 prospects a day and get 80% open rates. Other people can't send a 10 without getting automatically in spam.
Yeah, and then they ask me like, hey, Jeremy, can I send 800 auto warmer emails per day? I'm like, what? What for? Why do you want half of your allowance just to send cold outreach? Yeah.
Now we're missing something though. We're missing another force that started this mindset. Is cold email dead? And that's TensorFlow. It was April 19 when machine learning paired up with spam filters. I'm going to say this is like the third reason why people said, okay, enough. I don't think it's viable anymore.
I almost forgot this one. That's true. A lot of people are like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? And turns out that the floor's just been raised. And that's it.
Yeah. I think it's nice to keep in mind that in business, one is the most dangerous number. You've got one client, you've got one product, you've got one key employee, you've got one channel. Don't do that. I'm a big fan of the Bruce Lee quote, fear not the man who's practiced 1,000 kicks once, but one kick 1,000 times, right? So get very good at it. But we had Perry Marshall on the cast a couple of weeks ago, and something he says is, the best marketers I know are very good at 2 or 3 channels, not more than that, not one. Yeah. So all that said is, I think the marketers that had cold email as a channel, they got scared. They didn't know how to beat the deliverability, the spam filters, etc. So they went back to their second or third channel that they knew about that didn't have these changes in effect, because change is scary and it's difficult to navigate. And so people left for a while, but they're back, like you said, in high numbers.
It could have been in retrospect that, TensorFlow came in, people are, rushing back to LinkedIn. That's a big rush. LinkedIn put the limits, and then people come back to email. Right. And then now it's just like, come back, like balance to a normal thing. It's funny because, for the Slack stuff that you're mentioning, I think each channel's got their own allocated use, for example. Like, for example, when I'm communicating with my team, it's on Slack, and I don't want to exchange email like a big corporate. You keep on sending email and so on. So everything that concerns the company or the team and so on, it's on email. But for everything that is outside, we're not inviting people to our Slack channel or whatever. So it doesn't really make sense, right?
Now, how does that fit in with like cold email and maybe LinkedIn? Like, where does that come into play here? That yes, we use both, but we can't just consolidate into one.
Yeah, and we won't like first of all, I don't like emails as well. Like, okay, cool. I got like a cold email software, outreach cold email software. I like the outreach part, but the internal communication and stuff, like no, you got Notion for capturing documentation, you got Slack for, discussion with your team member and so on. So I think email is was probably not the real medium for that type of communication, and so it's been replaced. But it doesn't mean that the whole of email stuff is dead, right? I always believe that there is each channel has got their strength, and I think email is super great when it comes to outreach, and I think that's really what we're talking, right? People can't not have an email. It's like it's assumed that everyone has an email, right? Anything online, you have to have an email address. It's like you're gonna have to. So after that, there are some people who actually try not to have email inboxes, but they still need one for their bank account for whatever. So
That's a good
not
point.
dead.
The rest of your life connects to your inbox, right? So you can't really exist, or if you try, you're going to run up a lot of obstacles. Enter your email to blah, like it's still stating the obvious. It's still where we exchange information with companies, individuals, but where is it going? Maybe we can sort of explore that a bit on this cast.
I'm thinking, it's probably not going to be dead, but I think there's going to be another TensorFlow event when email provider will realize actually some already did. I have proof of that now. That some provider already realized that there are some exchanges of email between all the different auto warmer stuff, and that creates like a lot of traffic suddenly because it's just expanding, expanding, expanding. I think at some point something's going to happen. And maybe people will say like, "Oh, email is dead," and then what's the next thing? I don't know, TikTok, whatever. Now, obviously, not everyone's on TikTok, but I don't know what that's going to be. But
Right.
I think that's going to be become
I
again
I
difficult.
think I think we're just going to take the step where you just need to verify an individual, sort of like a social security number, to an inbox.
Possible.
I and it may be that you could have three different work email, personal email, whatever, but I think it's going to have to be linked to something
Mm-hmm.
so that there's less noise and it's just going to be less work for spam filters to deliver the right stuff and not the wrong stuff, right? Like, why aren't we there now?
What do you mean?
Like, to get a Gmail, I think now, or sometimes it depends how you set it up, but like it'll ask you to text a number,
That's
or
right.
it'll
Now they
it'll
assign it to
verify
your
a
to
phone.
your phone. Yes, at
Yeah,
the moment.
which I know some. I mean, you can go on Fiverr and there's people that sell a service that's like,
Yes,
I've got a thousand burner phones
that's
that
right.
you go to Walmart and get SIM cards apparently, and they
That's
can
right.
set you up, right? But I think this is like baby step number one, that direction.
Yeah. No,
I don't really
totally
know how
agree.
you can get like where that ends. I'm trying to think. Yeah, like LinkedIn's verification processes. If you send an unusual amount of volume for your profile, they say, please send us a passport photo so that we can make sure it's actually you that's operating this account. That's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. Well, if email did that, I don't think
Mm.
the problem is there's so many different email service providers, right? Like, not all of them are going to start checking for this, don't you think?
Yeah. That's true. You're still going to need to interact with strangers. And that's what cold email is all about, right? Um,
I think we've got some time. I
yeah,
really do.
I think so, because if you strip people from all the services, the one you can't strip out online is email at the moment, right? Maybe they'll come up with something else. Maybe that'll be the new thing, new cool kid in town. But at the end of the day, right now, you can strip off everything. I cannot go on LinkedIn. I cannot go on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever kind of thing. But I can't not really have an address. Yeah.
Right. I'm just wondering, like, um, is it? I'm losing my train of thought. Hold on, no, I've got it back. So why do I want this to happen, Jeremy? Like, why do I want
Don't know. I'm
a
fine with email.
password? No, no, no. Think about this. Like when LinkedIn came out with its limitations, I was super excited because I was like, great,
Yeah.
everyone that's doing junk bulk connection requests is going to say, well, got to switch to something else because bulk junk messages don't work. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like a holiday for us that are actually building a list properly and writing personalized messages, etc. What? Why don't we just do that now for email? I would love that. Is there an argument against this for like an agency that does outbound?
I don't know. I think there is a lot of security issue, right? Or personal data like you wouldn't want other people to leak, right? So which authority do you actually trust? Like I don't trust giving my passport to LinkedIn. F that. It's not gonna happen, right? They block my account, then I'll do something else, or I'll figure out what to do. But why would an entity like LinkedIn have access to my passport? It's like I think it's pretty bad. I had to identify recently with a bank because we were opening a new bank, and the process of identification was super smooth, super interesting. But then you sort of like you have to show them their passport and so on because they're legally, binded and stuff like that and so on. So it kind of like is okay, but um, a corporate with like no, where go my data and stuff. I mean, maybe that's because I'm a European, but I don't like that stuff at all. So.
You have a point. You have a point. But I mean, we've talked about how some countries have like thumbprint in order to get access to an app that allows you to like buy bus fare, things
That's
like
right.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we going there with everything else, like our digital wallets and
I know it's always going to be the freedom fight versus um more security, type of thing. So I guess somewhere there is a
yeah,
limit, and it's gonna happen one way or another at the pace it needs to happen, and
right.
we'll all move
But
to Mars. Yeah.
no, it's like whatever does happen, it's still this. It's like we're moving from bulk crap to low volume, really good stuff. That's like what's being rewarded as we progress into
Yeah.
better, and I'm using the word better intentionally, better spam filters. And so if we come back to high quality lists and personalized message, why would we be worried? Like I almost want cold email to be dead so that I'm standing out when someone's like, oh, I actually
No,
don't know this
not
person.
gonna
How'd they get
happen.
through? Well.
Not gonna happen, Jack. It's still there. Still will be there when I'm
No,
dead,
of
I believe.
course. But
Yeah.
like the good cold emailers should be excited about the prospect of the channel shutting down, because then
Of course.
it'll be like the Wild West. You can have you stroll
You,
around the candy shop.
you realize this is one of the first things that's been invented with the internet, and it's still there today. It's crazy, right?
Good point. In the
But one of
80s,
the good
right?
thing is like it's decentralized. There is a system, a grid way of talking to each other, like servers talking to each other if they want. So there's a protocol, like pretty much HTTP, right? It's also a protocol. And so with that, anyone can actually build their own sort of like server and stuff. And I like the decentralization stuff. The opposite to that is China and then doing their own stuff. And I don't want to live in that world, even if you make sure that each email address is human. I think that is a benefit. I'm happy. But then after that, it becomes ideologic, right? It's like, what do you believe? So
So I want to make sure, did we cover why everyone came back to the channel? Like, did we go there?
yeah, because it
I
works.
think it
Yeah.
has a lot to do with Facebook's algorithm changing. Google, like there's a new privacy push where advertisers can't track cookies all the way through like first ad impression to purchase.
This is
So if they
interesting.
go,
I
yeah,
forgot
if
that, but you're right. You're right. But
so
it's
there used
new.
to be,
It's a new thing, right?
right. So imagine you have an app that's like Candy Crush or something. You could show an ad, and then from first view, somebody goes to a website, then leaves, and 3 days later returns to the site, makes a purchase. You'll know what banner got the sale, and you'll be able to like do simple math to say, yes, this works. We're
Yeah.
gonna run this like crazy. And now they've took out that middle piece, which connected the first ad to the purchase down the road, like tracking the user across the browser and time. And so now that you can't do that, ads are less profitable. So it was the same exact push to go to another channel. Is now advertising's tougher. So then it pushed others like, where are you most comfortable next? You know, where's your second or third channel to go? And I think a lot of people return to cold email, probably with good results, right? Like as long as you got with the times and scrubbed your list and yes, personalized, and I'll do follow the best practice. You probably have to be back, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I've seen a lot more people asking me, yeah, coming from where you know what you're mentioning, coming from there, asking me like, hey, how do I do cold email? Like a lot more people are interested, as in like becomes a sort of like the channel you have to master as part of your 3 channels that you're mentioning, right? So that's good for us, cold emailer. That's been there for a long time. And for the other ones, you still got the podcast. And by the way, let me drop this. You also got course.quickmail.io. If you want to check out our course, it will help you with everything cold email related. I'm just wondering how hard I should go. This is a water cooler, so you know. And
well, I'll just say, John Carlton, yeah, we respect his copywriting skills, right? And he was on our podcast, I think a year ago or something, but he said, guys, you need to get a refund rate of at least 10% or you're not selling it hard enough. And our refund rate is way lower than that. Come on, take us for a spin. It's like 30 days and Teachable just like sends you the refund. You don't even have to bug us. And I don't even, I want more refunds. Like, come on, try it. It's not where it is. John Carlton would be so disappointed. We're not pushing it. Apparently, it's helpful for getting from kind of like middle of the road cold email skills to now you can send like an agency, charge what an agency should charge, and
that's true.
Just hand it to a team member. If you don't want to pay an agency to come in and do it for you, you can just train up your staff and get the same results.
Love it. So
the only missing ingredient, obviously, is the hard work. That is kind of nice about the agency route.
That's right.
But if you got someone who can work hard, you won't be missing the information.
Yeah, good addition here, Jack. Now, do you want to mention what your problem is with LinkedIn after saying all that praise? Actually, not LinkedIn, Sales Navigator.
Yeah, well, it's not a problem for me anymore because I kind of fixed it. But like, if you use Sales Navigator enough, you know that your rows aren't accurate 10% of the time, maybe even 15 to 20, especially if you're searching for CEO or owners. Everybody is also a CEO or owner of a side hustle, so they show up, right?
Yeah.
So we figured out how to like scrub the actual bad results, but for a time it was annoying. Absolutely. Why? What do you have, Jeremy?
No, it just make me think. It just make me laugh because I am guilty of that as well. Before having my company and so on, I tried something, and so obviously you put yourself as founder of that thing, even though it doesn't bring any money. So there's no real. Yeah, I'm sure I showed
which
up.
By the way, let me help you out a little bit. If and this isn't the fix for everything, and it's just going to take you a little bit, but if you are targeting owners, founders, CEOs, go ahead and apply. They've worked at that company for at least 3 years, right? So that'll kick out a lot of the people who had a side, not everyone, but it also depends, like the size of the company. Like CEOs of banks have been in that bank for 20 years. Go ahead and apply 10 years or more at that company, maybe even at that role, to truly get 97% accurate results. We found that to be like a quick improvement, but take you a little bit of the way there.
I would think that if you take people who only have one active job and they're founder, then you have a much greater chance.
No, it's close, but then they're the founder of the right company. They're also a board member of the Chamber of Commerce, and they're also an investor at Blah Startup.
Okay, fine. But they're not a developer at or a marketer at, right? You see what I mean? And it's funny because I added in my profile recently, founder of Mean. This is a new a new project that I dabble with at the moment, and it's a CRM, super simple CRM. Like think of Trello, Pipedrive, poof, merge them together. It's a free CRM, and I'm not here to do the promotion of it because it's not available anyway. But the point is that I started adding to my profile LinkedIn, and then I had oh, I'd love your take on this one actually. I had one of the investor or like a recruitment, like someone who actually loves to invest apparently, or like private equity or whatever. And then they're trying to discover, thing they can buy, and they say something like, "Oh, impressed with, what you've done with Mean, or whatever. Like, we'd like to discuss acquisition or whatever." Like, seriously, like, how well have you done your research, man? And so, and then after that, there is another bump email or bump. It's in LinkedIn, right? So there's another bump message saying like, "Hey, have you thought about this?" And so on. I say, "No, not gonna happen." And then the guy say, "Geez, okay." like, I was so taken aback because it's like, dude, I just let you know clearly that I'm not interested. You should thank me for letting you know. You know what I mean? It's like I come uninvited into your house, right? You didn't invite me, and I tell you like, "Hey, can you please leave? I'm not interested." And you say, "Man, it's like
Are
I feel
you
offended." It's like, what the? I don't know. Anyway, that was funny. I show you the exact
That's
screenshot.
interesting. No, what that tells me is they either haven't been doing outreach for very long, or yeah, it's got to be that, Jeremy.
But here's the
It's
thing,
like
Jack.
if you've
He
seen
he
100 of
replied
that,
he replied something along the lines like, "Yeah, there's a right and polite way to decline." So that's already funny. But
where's
my
he from?
response,
Where's he from?
um, I don't know. I didn't check, but I think it's somewhere in Europe. Um, um, anyway, and my exact response was like, "Not going to happen," or like I say, "Not going to happen. Good luck for the future," or something, or like something like that, right? It's like was very clear. Like there is no ambiguity. It's like, I'm not interested. Don't waste your time on me because that's not going to work. Anyway, I find that
Remember our advice, Jeremy, that was like, if you hate getting rejection messages,
don't stun them. Yeah,
set up your campaign and don't look at it for
that's
2 weeks, right? I mean, granted, you should have someone else look at it so when a good lead comes in, you're responding with timely. But we've seen people shut down campaigns way too early because they got 2 negative messages when they could have had something there. So if you happen to, I don't know, balk at rejection, even if they're worded kind of nicely, you might try separating yourself from those responses. I know it really like lightens the load if you're not looking at everything.
Anyway, that
That is funny though.
took me
How dare
back.
you?
No, it's like, seriously, like, is there a joke here? Or like, anyway, would have made a favor by replying, and then now I don't want to reply. So what? Anyway.
Right, right. That's interesting. I mean, at least there's a human on the other end. That's all I can say. It's not.
True.
It's
That's
yeah,
true.
but that's definitely a part of the process, if you ask me.
Hmm.
Okay, so what else, Jeremy? Was there anything else with like sales now that I know when we started, you're like, yeah, let's definitely talk this through. I'm
I'm
curious if
not 100% sure what I actually wanted to say at the beginning of the cast about Sales Navigator. I started using way more lately because we're trying to get an internal talent recruiter at Quickmail. And by the way, if you're a talent recruiter, then apply. Just reach out to me. But I think there's just like, I think it's more like LinkedIn in general. Like there's a ton of bots. Like at the moment, there is like a big discussion about the number of bots on Twitter, but I can guarantee you there is a ton of bots on LinkedIn. Really like a ton.
like a
And
ton of bots on what was the
LinkedIn.
first one you said?
On LinkedIn,
TikTok?
right? Oh, no. The Twitter. There's like a big discussion at the
Okay,
moment with,
right.
Twitter saying, "Oh, it's only 5%," and then the other are saying like, "No, it's more like 80%." And I think there's the same thing like going in LinkedIn like crazy. I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot more bots. There's like 100% bots, I'm sure, for the contact that I had.
100% bots. Okay, so I mean,
I'm
I think it's
100%
helpful.
sure
Like,
that those are the bots, are bots when I was with them, when I checked them out and so on. So, but
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so
it's
that's
much
interesting.
bigger.
How do you know 100 with 100% certainty something is a bot?
Well, for example, they are working. I mean, it doesn't add up. The companies they've been working with, their history, whatever, and then the outreach is very generic, and it's clear that this is like totally automated stuff, right? So
Yeah,
okay,
but
maybe not
I'm not.
100%,
I
but like
never
a
worry
good
about that.
90%, right?
Yeah, I
It's
never
not that
worry
I'm
about that
worrying about
because
it. It's like it adds a
yeah.
lot of noise on the whole channel.
Well, I I see it like two ways. Like number one, if you're getting results somewhere, double down, right? I
Sure,
mean, there's
100%.
one thing. Okay. And then the second is though it's kind of out of our control how many bots LinkedIn allows or uh, can't stop, I suppose. I don't know if I'm actually reaching out to bots, Jeremy, on our list because we make sure that they're active on LinkedIn before they get on our list, you know? So we look for are they liking posts? I mean, granted, a bot can do that for sure,
Yeah,
but
and they do.
you're going to have to like be connected with somebody that our clients are like there's some signals we look at as well, and then the third element is LinkedIn will ask them, hey, show me a passport, because it
Maybe.
looks like you're a newish account doing a lot of things that people aren't engaging with. Are you who you say you are? Which is their like method to push back on that. But I don't know, for like outreach, I think it means that yes, you may be approached by bots, but for reaching out to prospects, if you build a list of like founders at companies, there's not going to, I mean, I have not come across a duplicate profile where the VP engineering at startup was also found on a search with the same title with a different name. It's like I know that the person I'm targeting is on my list because there isn't like 12 VP engineering at the same company, you know? So from an outreach perspective, I'm comfortable with just
But
knowing like, okay, I
does
think,
the company
yeah.
really exist? That's the question.
Oh, well, then you're building your list incorrectly. So, okay, how do you build a list? You first start with target accounts, and they become target accounts because they did something that racked the shotgun that said they may want what you sell.
Right.
Okay.
Or they either like ads for finding roles, or they had a founding
Yeah.
role round
Right.
or stuff like that. Right. Okay. Okay. So it's
Right.
based on something existing in real life.
So I think if you're taking that approach, that's why I don't really care about bots. It's like
Mm-mm.
it's harder for us to encounter one because it's hard to get on our list. You know, if you got on your list, you like met a very secretary.
That makes
But if you go
sense.
on Sales Nav and you say founder
That's what.
in the
Yeah.
computer software,
And
then
that's harder for maybe
good luck.
recruiters. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I wonder
interesting.
how
So
many
even
how many bots recruiters are contacting.
how many bots are recruiters contacting? Okay. So then okay, that's kind of fun because I still think there's a way to at least look at profiles that like why would you contact somebody to recruit them? They've worked long enough at a thing with the right
Yeah, but
description,
you can
keywords.
fake that, right? When you create your
Yeah,
account.
that's interesting from a recruiting perspective, Jeremy.
Hey, but it's part
I
of the game, right? In the end.
yeah, I guess, but let me keep going with this. Like the bot would have to be trying to get picked up by you, meaning if you're recruiting engineering people with PHP background that have worked on product teams before, that profile had to have been spot on for that target. And then next, like,
Yeah.
okay, let's just assume that, I don't know, what's like a crazy number? If there's 100 million LinkedIn users, if 10 million of those are bots, I think that's higher than reality by quite a bit. But okay, like let's say we say, all right, who's in second degree network? That's going to remove 2/3 of the bots because they probably are connected with people that you know. And then if you say like, let's see who's active, that's going to like drop significantly the amount of bad players in that.
Hmm. Yeah, well, my bot is getting contacted right now. So let's see who buy. If I look a little bit, we offer editorial links for IT and SaaS businesses. So yeah, I do get contacted on my bot. I just, just checked one.
Are you talking about connection requests?
Let me check. I think it was, yes. No, hold on. No, it's a message for whatever reason. It's a message. So someone sent me an invite to my bot. I say yes, and then after that they send me some pitch.
I mean, look, we can go. I like it. Can somebody's contacting my like I don't know fake Twitter account? At the end of the day, is it working? If so, double down. And
Yeah,
maybe it's a little bit top of mind because you have a bot, and maybe
yeah,
it
it could
feels
be.
like more people are likely to have bot when really like might not be a cause for alarm, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe. I'm still thinking bots are building their own sort of gigantic network in order to get the details, contact of everyone else, because that's how it works, right? You get connected to someone, and suddenly you have
Yeah, that's
access
why
to
all
everyone's.
the Sales Navigator Chrome extensions are free,
That's right. And
right? I mean, it just
so I do think there is quite a lot of those. But here's another trick or another funny thing if you want to know the state of the economy. You type something like, company at currently unemployed or no company or whatever, and then you will find what people actually write because you have to put like a company name, right? When you're actually creating a position at in LinkedIn. And so people say not working, or I don't remember which one I had. I tweeted that. That was funny. And basically you could see that, oh, in the last, 6 months, this grew up by, 10% or 5% or whatever. And I think
this
that's pretty
job
funny.
title.
Yeah, exactly. So that's quite funny. You can
I
see
think
that
if
in
like
Sales Navigator.
you just type in like chief napping take officer or something, right?
Yeah, I can't recall exactly what it was, but I think he was, not employed or something like that, like unemployed as a
A lot of
company name.
people actually have that. Oh, as a company name or a
As a
title?
company, no, as a company name. Like they're working or like sabbatical or whatever kind of thing, and then you could effectively get some stats because that company doesn't exist, but LinkedIn actually aggregates those whoever puts that. So
Sure.
that was actually
Yeah.
funny.
Look, I think it's interesting. We should be aware of bots, but if we're talking about one of the biggest social networks, yeah, like if they have 100 million users, some of those a percentage is going to be like fake accounts, I suppose. But that's why I like to see cold email inboxes cracking down. I would actually be for uploading a driver's license to get a Gmail account in the future, right? I mean, whatever, maybe I don't care, but I want my email to be seen and read by the person that I send it to because a lot of time and money has been put into that message, right? With the personalization, enlistment, whatever. I want that to get delivered. And if that just requires putting a lid on the freedom behind like setting up any email, I'm for it. Right. It's just I think it'll be like a lot simpler to get delivered. And I'm into that. So I'm excited for the next like lockdown that these both channels have. I really am.
Okay, fair enough.
And you? We'll end it on this. Are you feeling the same or no?
Nah. Um, I I think it's a constant mouse and cat game. If you like playing it, then I think you'll keep playing it. And the day you're not going to like playing it, then I think that's going to be the end of it. Like it's so interesting that I'm still on cold email after more than 8 years. And I'm still liking it. I'm still fun. I'm still caring. I'm still dedicated, and
100%.
so on. And I would never have thought so when I actually started, right? Say, oh, I'll do that for 3-4 years, and I'll do something else.
But I don't think like it's a matter of like just playing the game and as long as you're comfortable with playing the game, you'll be fine. And I don't believe that. I think it like really does come down to, are you sending a message that somebody wants? And if so, the data scientists at Google are working super hard to reward that behavior. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. But as long as you're obsessed with that, with good stuff going to the right person, I think you can almost like shut your ears to the updates and carry on with what you're doing with good results.
Yep, I will agree with that. Try to generally reach out. Look at your course.quickmail.io if you don't know how to do it. And obviously, you should get much better results if you're having problems.
Sounds great. Jeremy, thanks for the water cooler without
Thanks.
beverage.
Yeah, I need a refill. All right. Catch you later, Jack.
See ya.